So we're live on StreamYard. On Facebook. Yeah, so I'll be live on Facebook, I'll be live on YouTube. So let's organize TikTok. Live on all platforms, right?
Right. So again, Shalom. Right. This is I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad and Tobago. Again, Saturday, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Under Commanding General YAHANNA. Commanding General YAHANNA again is the only man with the rank and the authority to bring blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians together. And again, you see how outstretched the word that the Lord is, and by that spirit moving, we could be able to reach through the four corners of the earth. And this is why, again, here in Trinidad and Tobago, you're going to see young, as you say, righteous black men, standing, as we say, in these gateways and bringing that reminder, not doing like where a Christian pastor or a imam or these religious leaders would be doing and misleading or directing the people or leading them astray and teaching them false doctrine and teaching them how to hate their own people or hate their brother, hate their sister. But again, in the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA, we are not affiliated with no religious group or organization, and the affiliation is that we stand for truth, and in truth you would get the rewards or the benefits of understanding why it is that our people and our nation are so destroyed in our society. And again, tonight is one of the nights that we would be in recognition where our forefathers stood stiff for the truth, and with standing stiff for the truth, they memorialize or hold this day as a dedication in standing and not taking a knee or bowing to the ways of our oppressors. And this is why, again, in the Israelite School of Universal and Practical Knowledge, again, or the I.S.U.P.K, is where you would find truth, is where you would find righteousness, is where you find brotherhood, where you find sisterhood, where you find, as we say, the application of laws, the application of doing these high holy days, these feast days, and bringing these remembrance to our people, to the nation. And this is why, again, tonight, as we do this, or do just as our King Yahawashi Jesus Christ did, and we follow our King Yahawashi and Jesus Christ, that you will know him as, because why Commanding General and I follow him, and he followed all the instructions. Because why? Since 1969, the men that hold fast and hold this truth search out these records, just like any black, Latino, Native Indian would do, and try to get a full understanding of why it is this take place to us, or why it is that we as a people have been stigmatized, or as we say, labeled as or deemed something to be so destructive to society, when in truth and in fact we are the ones who are supposed to be running this society. Because again, look at what is taking place around us, right? And we can right? And this is why, again, these reminders again will be continue to be brought up, because why? The truth is out here, and without truth, this is the end result. And again, Commanding General YAHANNA, we care again, or even when you look at every platform, brothers will be making mention of this, because why? In a society where it's full of darkness, the Lord always had that light, always had that remnant, always had his people, or the men chosen to raise back up his people, or to raise back up the nation, or that the reputation of the Lord will always be throughout the four corners of the earth. And as we go, and we're going to go into the one of these times, and that where the nation was at a point where the heathen or oppressor
Right.
take hold, and wanted to as we say, do away, or to bring to extinct the nation of Israel, because of why? Because of his, as we say, his lustful desire, and his greed, and his power hunger in wanting to be that that people that will rule over society, but not understanding his time was given to him, as we see in Job, Job or 8, and where he said the earth is given to the hand of the wicked.
Yeah.
Job 8 and 24, 9 and 24, where it make mention that the earth was given to them, into the hands of the wicked, and these men were wicked men. Because why we say they were wicked? Because look at the condition of the earth today. As we say, look at Hamas. Look at as we say, they even fighting their own brother. Russia and Ukraine, they even fighting one another for that power. And then the next brother on the next side, as you say, in Babylon and America, jumping across. And these is wars that was taking place or recorded in our history. And even in the time, Daniel prophesied this way before it happened. What we're going to read about, he prophesied this because why? At that time, when the Babylonian, or as we say, or the Persian Mede was running the empire, in the time of Daniel, the king had a dream, and Daniel went and he interpreted that dream to him, and we see that dream come to pass. And this is why, again, all that we're saying here is, as we say, it was recorded, and it's truth, because now you're seeing the prophecy and history line up. And this is why we say this is the only book in the earth that will have the records of each and every one of these nations. And this is why it's so important that as we read, and as we remember the time where our forefathers took back the temple.
That's right.
And remember that, I just say, dedicated themselves in standing for truth and for the laws of God, and for the, for what they have learned and been brought up by their fathers. This is what the same thing this is the same thing that we are doing today.
Right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, that's what's it. And it's the important way of saying, because you gotta understand, when we look at the Feast of Dedication, you understand? When we look at who we are as Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you gotta understand that there are a lot of things that happen in our history that we don't know about. You understand? Understanding the Feast of Dedication, or Hachaanakah, is an integral part of understanding who Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians are. We have to understand who we are as a people. And if we don't understand who we are as a people, we will end up in a position where we are lost, where we are carried to and fro, you understand, by other people, by other nations, by other races. And the thing is that because we don't know who we are, we cannot fit in anywhere. You understand? And it's always in the best interest of all these other nations that we, as Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, don't understand our culture and our history. And because we don't understand our culture and history, it gives them power over us. But when we are in our glory, when we understand who we are as a people, that is where our strength is. And the story, you understand, in First and Second Maccabees, you understand, we will get to understand there was a time when the nation of Israel was under duress. There was a time when the nation of Israel was under siege by the heathens. You understand? But it took strong men, it took righteous men, it took men who dedicated themselves to the law of the Lord. It took men who had courage, you understand, to do what it is they need to do. You understand? And it goes beyond just, fighting war. You understand? Yes, you need to be skilled in war, but it took the Lord. And it's only because men put themselves right before the Lord that the Lord is right with them. You understand? And there, as you go through the stories, as you go through the history, you get to understand that the Feast of Dedication, what we call Hachaanakah, is part of Black history.
That's right.
You understand? So you usually don't have Black History Month in America. That is not enough. Black history is the Bible, the entire Bible. It belongs only to Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. And when we go into the story of the Maccabees, we'll get to see all manner of stages and all the different categories. You understand? That applies to today. You understand? We still see today in our society where you will see it as certain type and character of persons reoccurring. And there are ways to deal with them. You understand? And through the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, being priests and prophets of the Lord, we are able to understand our roles and responsibilities and take charge of those roles and responsibilities. And when we disseminate that, we do it rightly and justly. You understand? To raise the nation of Israel. You understand? From the gutter, from the slums, from the positions that we're in, from below the feet of our enemies, who are every other nation under the Slackers.
Yeah, no, sir. So that.
Yeah, no, sir.
Again, what the priest bringing out again is so heavy because again, these is reminders to us, and the reminder will continue till the coming of our King Yahushua.
Right.
These reminders will become continue, and again, these high holidays and these feast days will continue because why? In the land of our captivity, we were reminded to do what? To rehearse these righteous acts, to do it in remembrance, and don't forget, because why? It was taught to us, and again, this is why again we continue to bring these reminders onto us, right, as a people. So we jump in date one time.
Yeah, can
Right,
so that's great.
right? So we will go to the book of First Maccabees, and we will start off again, and we will do just a little backdrop in history, and then we will see how everything line up even to today, right?
Can
Yeah, you said.
Let's start from verse 1.
Yeah, right.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. In those days arose Mattathias, the son of John, the son of Simeon, a priest of the son of Jerib.
Is that like one or two?
So like it. So like it.
Yeah, because
Yes, 1 and 1.
Yeah.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 1. And it happened after that Alexander, the son of Philip, the Macedonian, who came out of the land of Shittim, had smitten Darius, king of the Persian and Medes, that he reigned in his stead, the first over Greece.
And this was the part where we were talking about Daniel prophesied. In Daniel, I think it's Daniel chapter 8. Daniel chapter 8. We'll just jump to Daniel chapter 8 and you will see the same thing. And Daniel was before the Maccabees. Daniel prophesied this, right?
Daniel chapter 8.
Yeah, chapter 8.
Come on.
Start at 7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 8 and verse 17. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, understand, O son of man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. Verse 18. Nor as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face towards the ground. But he touched me and set me upright. Verse 19. And he said, behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the kingdom, of the indignation. For at the time appointed, the end shall be. Verse 20. The ram which thou sawest, having 2 horns, are the kings of Media and Persia. And the rough goat is the king of Grecia. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king.
All right, so you see, this is where Alexander come out from. He come out from, as we say, from Greece. Go ahead.
Verse 22. Now that being broken, whereas four stood up for it. 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power.
Right, and again, all of this is history.
Right.
All of this is going back into history. Because now you can go back and you can read, and Dan, this was in the time of Daniel. And Daniel was telling, as we say, the king at that then time,
Right.
or interpreting his dream at that time, that this is what's going to happen.
That's right.
That the kingdom going to fall.
Mm-hmm.
Your reign or rulership is going to come to an end. And these is the people then who are going to rule or as you say, run the earth and at that time.
Right.
Right?
Continue.
Yeah. Go ahead, Ramon, go ahead.
Verse 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance, understanding dark sentences, shall stand up.
And this is what we're reading about here. Because why? We will read some more. Let me go back to First Maccabees and you will see concerning this king. Go ahead.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1. Right, chapter 1 and verse 3. So like I think it was 4.
Yeah,
Verse 2.
Yeah.
And made many wars and won many strongholds and slew the kings of the earth.
Right, and as you say, this Caucasian man, as you say, or oppressor, he came down and he joined forces, with the heathen and them, or the Arabs at that time. And then, just like any, as the scripture make mention, our tongue, smooth. It is cunning words and deceit and deceit would come to you, and then behind your back, he unalive you. That the reality. That is who he is.
Yeah.
That is who he is. And this is what take place here now. So now in doing that now, he started, as you say, gain power. Because why? Again, this is the Lord doing. The Lord is doing something, and this is a reminder to us. So all that we're reading about here is to remind us as a people that don't take, as we say, our oppressors slightly. Because why? They only have one purpose, and only one purpose is that to do what? To continue to sit over us, or the children of the nation of Israel. And this is why, again, these are reminders. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 3. And went through the earth, so like I went through the ends of the earth, and took spoils of many nations, insomuch that the earth was quiet before him. Whereupon he was exalted, and his heart was lifted up.
Who we see doing this at present today?
Mm-hmm.
Who we see doing this at present today? As we say, anybody on any level at the social media platform that we're on, we're on TikTok, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. Any brothers and sisters, anybody who you see doing the same thing today. The same exact thing that the brother just read here, that the officer just read here. Who is he doing that? Again, this is why, again, our records is a reminder to us, and the scriptures it's a never trust the enemy. Because why? They only have one purpose, and one purpose alone, and that is to do what? To take hold, or to bring to you, as we say, these people to naught. They wanted to do it at that time, and they want to do it now. This is why, again, we continue to do what? To face all, as we say, all these trials and tribulations in this society. Because why? The more they keep us in celebrating their as we say, their holidays, is the more the Lord be anger or vex with us. Because why? Like any father leave instructions for his children to follow, he would make sure or make sure that he have things in place that they would get the opportunity to follow that. And this is why, again, the Lord is our Father unto us. He's a father unto us, and he continue to be a father unto us even today. Even as we say in our, as we say, in our wicked state, he still is our father to us, because why? He had reminders to us. And these reminders would help us in these last days to move away from the place that would, when this place is going to be brought to, as we say, to utter destruction or to its knees. The Most High God made that provision on our way. And this is why we're on this platform. And this is why, again, the Lord is using this platform through, every media outlet to bring this message up, to bring this word, or to bring these reminders. And this is why, again, only in the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General YAHANNA, you'll find men with bring out truth or bring that reminder to our brothers and sisters. Right? Go ahead.
Come. Verse 4. And he gathered a mighty strong host and ruled over countries and nations and kings who became tributaries unto him.
Again, look, we're reading this. Who is that person? Today, you could close your eye and you could point him out. The same exact thing that our oppressor is doing. Everybody bring, as you say, royalties to America, bring this to America, UK, wherever they sit, wherever they conjoin, wherever they gather, wherever sit, and again, it's the same things we see here. The same exact thing we see here. And this is why, again, if you're Black, Latino, Native Indian, now is the time for you to come out of this, as you say. You
Right.
Move your spirit away from the society. Because the Lord is doing something right now in the youth. He's waking up and bringing a reminder to us as a people and as a nation. Right? Go ahead.
Come. And after these things, he fell sick and perceived that he should die. Verse 6. Wherefore he called his servants, such as were honorable and had been brought up with him from his youth, and parted his kingdom among them whilst he was yet alive.
And you see this point really heavy, and there's a reminder for us. And this is why, again, you see, when we sit down here and we, as you see, we do these high holy days, or we do these feast days, we do it in remembrance of our forefathers, because it's the same thing that we're reading here. These men, that this man, as we say, or this, our oppressor is raising up, or as we say, the men under him, it's to continue on his legacy. It's to continue on his reputation. But we have a reputation of the Lord. And look at us today. We don't even want to carry it on. We don't even want to patronate or partake in it. We don't even want to, as we say, as the scripture says, gather ourselves together. But notice, in here, in this body, in the I.S.U.P.K, you'll see righteous Black men gather together. You see righteous Black sisters gather together. Latino and Native Indians. The 12 tribes gather together.
Right.
So, like how the scriptures mentioned, no longer we be, two, but we be one. In here is where you're going to see that one body. And the way we find these 12 tribes gathering. Nowhere else. Not in your church, not in your, as they say, in your mosque, not in wherever religious organization you're in.
Right.
As you say, or group that you're in, you wouldn't see that. Only in here alone you'd see that. Right? Go ahead.
Come.
I remember I get jumping and
Wherefore, so verse 7. So Alexander reigned 12 years and then died, and his servants bare rule everyone in his place.
Right. So you see, why it is now we as a people can hold fast to these law, statutes, and commandments laid down for forefathers, laid down for us today, and do, say, and rehearse these righteous acts. Why it is? Because why? Because our religion, because our Christianity, because of the doctrine that was spread throughout the nation by our oppressors, by people who wanted to honor life, by people who wanted to be or had a seat over us. But not knowing that the Most High God had reminded us that He chose us Not because we were few in numbers, and because he had a reputation and we were special unto him. Just like any father, would have, his favorite. We were his favorite. Because why? His favorite would always carry on his legacy or his reputation. And this is why when we bring this out, as we say, they will always like to use the term the human race. But now, and then you talk about equality. And what we see in the earth right there had no equality. It always had a structure. And that structure always had order. Because now, when righteousness ruling, just as the record say, the whole earth would be at peace. Everything would be in order. And why the whole world now is out of course, out of order. And this is why you see all these unaliving taking place. All these, as we say, our sisters in the abortion clinic, or brothers, as we say, on drugs, black and black crime. But again, tonight is a night where we fought for that. And this is why when we bring all this, it's something that our forefathers stand stiff for, stand upright for, stand for these laws. And it was dedicated that it should be done throughout our generation, just like any other high holiday, any other feast day. Again, tonight is not, wait, it's not high holiday. It's like a dedication where righteous black men stand for truth. Stand for truth. Because why? A lot of, as we say, unrighteousness or a lot of evil was taking place or being done to the children of the nation of Israel. Right?
So like I say, if I may,
go ahead.
Just to give our context in terms of the history, people to understand that this Bible is actual history, and that is the history of all the nations on the face of the earth. And just as we're talking about the Maccabees, you understand, this is it is not the first and second Maccabees is not part of the books of the current so-called collection of the King James Bible, right? And the first issue of which is the King James 1611, right? All those books were included. But the current mainstream Bible that we have here now does have what we call the Apocrypha, right? Which contains the first and second Maccabees along with a lot of other books. Yeah? And just to get a clue, you understand, of Alexander the Great, he was one of the great rulers of that time, conquered, as you see, as you read, the Persians and the Medes, understand? And after that, his generals, which were the 4 men who were rolling with him at that point in time, when he was going to die, we have actually their names, because this is actual history. You could Google this, you could check it out, you will see all the history on these men. And this is recorded in our book. Understand? The name of those 4 generals were Antigonus, Salakia, Ptolemy, and Seleucus, right? Those were the 4 generals, Greek generals, right? From the Greeks, you understand, there came in the Romans, you understand, came and took over after the Greeks, you understand, conquered Israel and that whole entire region. You understand, we continue reading the book, so no Jew, no Greek. But we don't understand where the history of the Greeks come from. The history of the Greeks in the Bible, of who being a Jew and who being a Greek, you understand, comes from this part of history, this part of our scripture that is not currently recorded in the current King James Bible, which stops at Malachi, and then from the Old Testament, and then begins in Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, right, in the New Testament, right? The book of the Apocrypha fits between that, and you'll get the part of the history from that point of Old Testament, and then coming to the New Testament, there's a gap of history, and the book of Maccabees fulfills or is part of that history.
And this is, and that's so important. And again, this is why the platform that we teach on is a platform of learning. Because now in religion you will learn this. You would never learn this. They would not sit down and just like the officer brought out, or Sarkar brought out, and go into the history, because now, as we say, everything is a finger touch. They touch a button and it come up. Before, we started to go to these libraries And as you see, that why I say toward again or Brakataya for these men, who went at that time and put in that study. Now, what we doing? We continue on in that same footstep. Because why? As our record say, this is teach just your sons and your sons' sons. We are sons in here under commanding general.
That's right.
And this is taught us because why? So we can teach it to our sons, to our daughters, as you say, to our household, to our brothers, to our sisters by extension. This is not just only, as we say, where this society label it or deem it just your whole family, your household, and that is it. This is our family by extension. And this family by extension is a nation that was removed from, as we say, from history,
right,
by these other nations, and who wanted, as I say, that seat of power. And why we were removed? Because of our disobedience. Not because we did something and we go against the structure, the order where the Most High God had set for us. Right. And we take a course or a different pathway and start to look at the other nations and feel, hey, yeah, boy, them living nice, boy. Yeah. Want to follow them, boy. As you say, let me celebrate Christmas, let me celebrate Thanksgiving, let me celebrate, birthdays. Let's celebrate these days on them, and not knowing that was anger, vexing the Lord. Right. Because why? As any good father with one good for his children, this is the Lord. He always wanted good for us. We were supposed to always be good, not move away from his ways, right, but always follow that path. So why we be that example, or be that as our record say, that light in the earth, right?
Okay. You want to continue reading?
Yeah, go ahead.
And the book of Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse verse 8. And his servants bear rule, everyone in his place. And after his death, they all put crowns upon themselves. So did their sons after them many years, and evils were multiplied in the earth. Verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus.
And this is where you're just making mention. This is where and this in history. This in history, what we read in here now. This is why, again, this is the only recorded book in the earth that will give it the history on each and every one of these nations.
That's right.
You can pull out your Quran, you can pull out your Bhagavad Gita, you can pull out your Book of the Dead, your Muslim, anything. Go in and see if you can find these things taking place.
Right.
It had it recorded the same thing was happening right now.
That's right.
The wars and them that taking place right now, it recorded right there. And this is why, again, just as they made mention, the men are old, or the prophets are old. They prophesied this. Yeah. They prophesied this until the coming of our King Yahawashi, and he now brought the understanding whereby we could understand truth.
Okay.
Because now we were standing on just laws to guide me. But now we didn't understand the purpose behind it. And now when our King came, he brought understanding, and now we understand the purpose behind the law. Was not to, as we say, to go against a brother, but to be a brother to your brother.
Right.
Not to unalive your brother, or as we say, unalive your sister, bring harm to them, but to be, as we say, a brother to them, or a sister to them. And society teach us to be evil to one another. And this is why, again, you see these records on them, it's solid.
That's right.
Solid. A lot of people with the look and they with them talking, it's the same thing that they say to our King Yahawashi. The same thing. And he said, know this. Don't believe the hatred, they hated me first, because why he was talking the truth. And it's the truth we make brothers just back and say, nah, boy.
Right.
Nah. This is the way it is. And that's why the men and them, when he called them, they could have moved one time. Because these men and them, as we say, were men old or men renowned men. The spirit that was dwelling in them was men that would stand for these truths and knowing. With the core sides. The cause already counted. It was already counted, right? So
that's right. Yeah, that's what. Continue.
Yeah. If you want to use this one.
That's what.
Yes.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 10. And there came out of them a wicked root, Antiochus, surname Ephanes, son of Antiochus the king, whom had been an hostage at Rome. And he reigned in the 137th year of the king of Selachia, of the kingdom of the Greeks. And in those days went they out of Israel wicked men, who persuaded many, saying, let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow.
Right. And again, this year is a Christian pastor. Yeah, man, we talking about black men. We talking about Hispanic Native Indian men. These are the men, as you say, who, as you say, quote unquote, they have a degree or a college or the high end state. These are, as you say, the Martin Luther King. These are who there is. These is men who would run after their own lust and their own desire and have no care for the nation.
So like I say, if I may, even as it's talking about, I just read, that in Israel had wicked men. It was being, the scriptures were very specific of the kind of men, you understand, that would go towards these kinds of situations.
Right.
How you say we have all Christian pastors today, we have the TDJs, the Creflo Dollars, we have all these men who, you understand, who are willing, you understand, to join these other nations, but for gain. Because that is all they wanted. Martin Luther King, all these were men who wanted gain,
right,
to be part of these heathen nations, to be part of our so-called oppressors. You understand? And, understanding who we are as a people and understanding how these men operate will give us a better idea of how to deal with situations like that.
Right.
But the scriptures tell us or teach us about men like this. And in Jeremiah 17:9, right, it says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? You understand? And this really showing that sometimes when men think in their mind, this is a good idea.
Right.
You understand? It's a good idea to join the heathens because since we were the heathens and them, is we will fear better now. Because they say, since they come, we in real sorrow. The best thing we could do, we just appease them, join the family. You understand? Start to celebrate their feasts, their holidays, Easter and Christmas and Diwali and all these kind of different things. And when we go into that mode, you understand? The most I call that was wickedness, because these men encouraged or were forward into the heathens to follow their ways. It's not like, okay, well, they get whipped over the back, or they get some other thing. They were willing, you understand, to sin against the Most High. They were willing to go out and do evil in sight of the Lord. Yes.
Yeah.
First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 11.
Yeah.
That's what.
And as you bring out that, this is where I see you show that it's them with the fever needs. Because now the car, as you say, stand to the test of time.
Right.
Because now a question like this will be posed or asked. Now the quickest thing to do is to run from it. And how you're running from it now? By doing by lie.
Right.
Not that good. Now you read and you say prayer needs, not prayer needs. In going into the as we say, in going into the source, as you say, because everything right there. Because now you know you don't have, you take up a custom and apologize, or you take up, as you say, the ways of the heathen. So now when how the heathen talk, that's how you go talk.
That's right.
You wouldn't talk like a black man. Say, not looking real hard, boy. You wouldn't understand black culture because now it's so unreal to your thought process. So for you to process it, it's hard. Because now you feel like you're bringing yourself low, but not knowing, hey, that how we is. That how we culture is. We was always hardcore, real, straight. That way it is.
And so like I said, just to kind of add to what you're saying,
Go ahead, yeah.
you know, when you look at it deep, every nation and every group, you understand, on the planet it has a spirit.
Right.
You understand? And blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians have a spirit. We have the spirit of the Lord, and there's a particular vibe in which we carry about ourselves, a particular vibe in which we operate and move. There's a particular vibe in the way we deal with each other.
That's right.
You understand? And if you look closely enough and you understand enough, you will see that's the difference between a heathen and how so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians operate.
That's right.
You understand? It's very distinct. You understand? It's distinct as black and white. But a lot of people sometimes try to hide and mask among and between. That was some of the heathens try to do. That's why they want us to so-called mingle up and mix. And you have all this, Jahaji Bai, all this kind of so-called Dogla mixing and all these kind of things, which the Most High is against. And these were the kind of things that these so-called wicked men at that time were trying to do, to mingle and mix, you understand, and to put away the laws of God. You understand? Even as, as I just read in Jeremiah, the Most High have a way to deal with those wicked men. You understand? Just like if I can read it over. Right? In Jeremiah 17:9. Right? It says, the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So the Most High let you know who can know. You understand? Don't feel you can know, okay, well, I know what a man is, I know what a man thinking. Nah, this heart is desperately wicked, not just normal wicked. You understand? And verse 10 says, he said, I, the Lord, search the heart. I try the reins, even to give every man according to his ways and according to the fruit of his doings. You understand? Which is, so like I said, which is heavier the Lord to state it that way, because sometimes we feel okay, just like how those wicked men do. They will do this here, and they're okay away. You understand? We will live nice, we will eat good. We ain't go suffer. But the Most High in the back end, he will look you up. So like I said.
Again, this is why, when you listen, as you say, let me say black conversation, because this is where we are right now.
Right.
We're having a conversation with your brothers. We bring in a reminder to our brothers and let them know, hey, the Bible is our recorded history book. Tonight is the feast of dedication. This was a reminder to us where brothers stand still for the law in that dedication towards the temple, where in the time of Solomon built to the Lord in honor of his father David, who King Yahushua came from that whole line to sit on the throne of his father David, and it was a reminder to us. And this is why now that time these and them in retaking the temple was dedicated. 8 days was dedicated to that.
That's right.
As made mention when they say we had our period. That time was 8 days was dedicated to that time, because why? At that time, with all these wars and them around us, we didn't have no rest. But now the Most High God gave us rest at that time. We retained the, as we say, in the temple. And at that time, the 12 tribes of the nation came together and did this in remembrance. Because why? This is our, as we say, our culture. This is black culture. This is why when we come together on these days, it's black culture. Not African, but because again, we're not African.
Right.
These Africans is the one and them, as we say, who sold us with the hand of the oppressor into slavery. Help in, as we say, in the oppression of our native Indian brothers and sisters. Help in the oppression, as we say, in all that take place to us, these oppressors.
Right.
And this is why again, these as we say, these high holy days, these feast days, is remembrance to us where our fathers went through, and we could rehearse it rightfully and right and righteous. Right? Slack.
Yeah, no sir. So like I say, we're gonna continue.
Yeah. If you want to, if you want, you can jump.
Nice. To what I say. No.
No. Because we'll go on again. It's not feast day. It's just at their dedication. So like the classroom environment. So if you want, you can come up and all too. You know. If you want, you can come up and all too. Because again, as we say, we just trying to keep that vibe, but keep that same spirit. So because now I say some that we want to make sure that it's right. That we lost that. Yeah. So. No sweat. Yeah. 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 We gotta read on, and then we just come to we just go to the part with the dedication after. But what we doing, we just kind of going through the story. Like, like how they say, it's story time, and then children them come around. Because now, at that time, as we say, because now children running that dedication, because now the temple, as we say, we are no wars. Nobody now warring against one another, the hidden in the place, and we place. And what we doing, we observing we say now, we converse, we say now, and no matter tires, when you stand up there, that taking place. And this is the spirit of the vibe of the Lord that we in right now, because now it remind that to us. So we could do what we could stand upright for truth. Yeah. So we'll read on a little more about Christian.
So like, you want to continue from verse 11?
Yeah, now if you want, I'll say if you wanted, they can take it up if you want. No problem, sir. Like 1 and 11. The book of 1 Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 11.
Alright, so that here. In those days, when they are out of Israel, women who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are around about us. For since we departed from them, we have had much sorrow."
Go ahead. That part we are now breaking down there, as we say, as we say, all these religious leaders. Right?
Verse 12. So this device pleased them well. Verse 13. Then some of the people were so forward therein that they went to the king and gave them license to do after the ordinances of the heathen.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 14. They built a place of exercise at Jerusalem according to the customs of the heathen.
Right. And again, what we were reading now, we just reading, and we will come up to that time, because now all this is history. All this is history, and true history come from our records. And again, Daniel prophesied this way before it happened.
Yeah.
And this is what we're reading about here now. The same thing that is practiced today.
Right.
By as we say, where all people will join the oppressor, we say we join the sports. We join as we say, the basketball, the football, we join everything. Start a practice, or as we say, and they would sit and enjoy it, as you say, like yeah, boy, watching us as rivalry to one another. Because again, who we are, as you say, we are the greatest people in the earth. And when not just by word, because now this the Lord who is the one who put us there. So we have no boasting in it, because now everything comes from the Lord. He is, as you say, he is the potter and we is the clay. He could shape we how we want to, and he shape us to do what to run this earth business. Right?
And so like I say, if I may,
go ahead.
just to add on to what you're saying, this is why the study Lord's in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding YAHANNA. This is the rule, this is the mandate, you understand, that we have to go out in this earth, take over.
That's right.
You understand, to raise so-called Black, Hispanics, and Native Indians, man, woman, and child, to raise families. You understand? And to be what? To be strong. You understand? In the Lord. Be strong in the law. You understand? Because when you look at how society and how this so-called system is, you understand, that breaks down, you understand, and destroys Black culture and Black history. Something simple as multiple wives. You understand? Because of how we take on the oppressor spirit. You understand? That is out of us. Having multiple wives, you understand? Not eating pork, crab, lobster, and shrimp. All these are things that is pertinent. You understand, to Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian culture and practices. And because what? Because we join these other nations, now multiple wives is taboo. You understand? It's against the law. You understand? I think they call it what, bigotry. When you're having more, when you so-called marry more than one woman, which was a normal part of Black culture. You understand? And in the wider scope was what was part broader in terms of the world history, because only until so-called Western culture, you understand, only until the so-called Greeks, that the so-called monogamy, you understand, came into play. You know? All these things were stifled and stymied so-called Black, Hispanic, Native Indian culture. Salakias.
Yeah, and the point they bring up heavy there now, because now everybody running for the license,
That's right.
marriage license, but not knowing, I just say, from the time you go onto that woman, that become yours. So now, why the oppressor will be gaining all fight and get catching in that act? Because now you having this marriage license here, and they run for next marriage license over. So
right.
now when you do that, I make it more easy for him. So you can tell, hey, but and you sign a contract here, but in that contract can break, and you come and sign a contract here, but so now we're doing. So now you start to play by hero game. So now he running, yeah. So he now taking full charge or control over here, and again, just as Commander General and I was bringing out and all too. The whole purpose of this is this is the only thing we're going on in the earth right now.
Right.
The ruler and the slave. Nothing else. Everything else is like a puff of smoke, and how you thinking like, hey, look, this. One person wants to rule, and that person wants to continue to as slaves in the earth, and reading that in the, because now this man went through all the earth, as it say, and started going to these lands and them and unalive them, take over the strongholds, take over and they would have started to do that, pay tribute to him. That come up in the tax.
Yeah.
That come up with as you say with all of that. Shalom, That come up with all of that. And again, this is why these things are reminders. Right. Yeah.
Like I said, we'll continue.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 15. And made themselves uncircumcised and forsook the holy covenant and joined themselves to the heathen and were sold to do mischief.
Right. And you see what take place? Because now we forsook something that the Lord wanted us to keep, wanted us to separate from, wanted us to as we say, to do just or rehearse the acts that our forefathers wanted us to continue on. That footstep or that pathway.
Right.
We forsook the covenant of the Lord. Because why? It was separated from the ways of the heathen. Their custom and their culture will bring destruction to our people. Just we see today.
That's right.
And from the time we move away from that, look at us. Look at the condition, as you say, our Black people today. And when I say Black people, I talk about the whole 12 tribes. And that why I say that why we make mention, hey, this is Black culture.
Right.
So some people here, you say Black people, they only think like it's only you alone Black. We talking about the 12 tribes because it has flavor in here. A different shades. Scripture make mention of a speckled. Different shades are brown.
That's right.
This is how we come. And this is why, again, is a reminder. And again, tonight, we do this in remembrance of our forefathers standing for truth, standing for these laws. And would not, as we say, bow to no, as we say, to no idol. Or as we say, no, let no unclean mischief take place in this time. Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 16. Now when the kingdom was established before Antiochus, he taught to reign over Egypt, that he might have the dominion of 2 realms. Verse 17. Wherefore he entered into Egypt with a great multitude, with chariots and elephants and horsemen, and a great navy.
And would it also, as we say, it'll be so amazed, and when you really go back and you sit down and you really read your history and you really look at it, you know, as you know, our forefathers laid before us, our leaders for us. Now again, it showed him just before, and it's showing him in the movement. As he moved through the earth, and as he gather men and them, and as he goes to wars, it show you everything in specific that this beast does. It highlighting him, it's showing him up. It's showing him up. But again, if your mind really not on or for your people, then you will look at this as that history that done gone. That had nothing to do with let me deal with now. It's the same thing happening now that was happening then. But because now, as I say, you have some that over your mind, again, always called Christianity, that continue to, as we say, overshadow your thinking, overshadow your vision. In everything that you're doing, is like you only thinking about these other nations, but they thinking about you. As we say, what you 1% could boast how much millions are making in franchise, in all the outlets, and they're coming and boast again. With you now taking, as you say, your 9 to 5 and running and do work, and as you say, uplift the empire for one day. For one day. And this is why, again, this is reminders unto us.
Exactly. Right. You know, you want just again to add to what you're saying. You know, when you look at all these other so-called religious leaders and politicians and all these people who seek in power, is no different to those same wicked men. You understand? Some of our people seeking to be politicians, seeking to, you know, get high seats. You understand? In all these organizations where the heathens are. You understand? This is, you know, the one of the main destruction of so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, where because of the loss of power, you understand, that it would bring great destruction. You understand? These scriptures here, in Romans 15:4, it says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we, through patience and comfort of the scriptures, might have hope. You understand? And we see in here again, all these things were written in the book of Maccabees, from Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, Jeremiah. You know, all these books, all these things were written aforetime, so that we can see now. You understand now, and be able to have to be wise, to see the traps, to see the pitfalls, to see the stumbling blocks that our forefathers had, and not make those same mistakes. You understand? But again, yet again, because of lust, you understand? We have persons, we have so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians still falling prey to these things. Same way as how the Pharisees fall prey. When the Romans were there, they were what? Lusting after power.
Mm-hmm.
Because why? They're afraid Christ would come and take away the seat.
Yeah.
Come and take away the gold and the silver and the, you know, the upon and the bishopric, and all these kind of different things. These are the things that are vain, that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indian leaders fall trap for. And these are one of the greatest traps that set into most, you understand, persons when they're looking after and pushing after lust and power. It blinds them.
That's right.
You understand? And that will continue to push the nation of Israel in the direction that we go. And I think just as we see in the book of Maccabees, they were yet men who were righteous and who were willing to hazard their life, you know, to defend this truth and to defend this nation, which is the nation of Israel. Salakia.
Right. Christ said that. Right.
You want to continue?
Yeah. What number is that, Maka?
Number 18, right?
18. Jump to 20.
verse 20. Right? The book of First Maccabees, chapter 1 and verse 20. And and after that Antiochus had smitten Egypt, he returned again in the 140th year, and went up against Israel and Jerusalem with a great multitude.
So now we going into as we say to where this heathen now, as you say, after he done do as you say, he mischief through the earth. Now it's see now he's going to come up against who? Children of Israel. Going to come up against them.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead.
Verse 21. And entered proudly into the sanctuary and took away the golden altar, the candlestick of light, and all the vessels thereof.
Right. So imagine a man coming in your house now, after he done do mischief all over. Yes. Yeah. After he done do mischief all over now. Now he realized now, hey, my mischief is done. So that evil hovering over his head. Now he watch this place from a distance or from afar, and he say, hey, you see down there? I'm going down there now. I don't go east, west, north. Let me go down south.
Right.
Let me go down south. So now he decide now to come up or to come against the children of the nation of Israel.
Right.
Right?
Verse 22. And the table of the showbread, and the pouring vessels, and veils, and the censers of gold, and the veil, and the crown, and the golden garments that were before the temple, all which he put off.
Yeah.
Verse 20.
Yeah, go ahead.
Verse 23. He took also the silver, and the gold, and the precious vessels, also took the hidden treasures which he found. And when he had taken all away, he went into his own land, having made a great massacre and spoken very proudly.
And who is this today? Again, look at all what take place. Now, remember Israel's name would have be ringing out through the earth. This people is a holy people, they're separated, the following the laws of God. This wherever. Now this heathen now, as you say, come down and he show, hey, look, I go up against the children of the Lord. Look what I do. Go on back and he start a boast. And what you do. So now you taking pride, or a proud person about and coming up about where do the Lord's people. So now it's like you're telling somebody else, hey, I went down there by that man and I kicked down each render. And I do all what I do. I ransack the house. Just like any thief go do.
That's right.
Just like any vile or vague or wicked person go do. When as I say, so the self-gain and greed go do. This is how we say our oppressor did. And he proud about it. We look at it right there. He speak proudly about it. Right?
So, like yes,
Go ahead.
by me. When you look at, against society and how everything is pushed, you understand, not just pushed on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, but also this is just like the lifestyle of the heathen. This is their characteristics. You understand? That is how they are. That is their spirit. You understand? And when we in the scriptures again, what is written 4 times? It's written for our learning. The scripture clear and showing exactly who these type of men or the spirit that they will have even in this last days. So, like if we could get 2 Timothy chapter 3 from verse 1, it says, right? So like yeah. So like 3 from verse 1. Because this here is the spirit on the earth right now. You understand? And all blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we have to pay attention to these things. You understand? Because this exact same thing happened in the time of Maccabees, and it's the exact same thing happening here now. And this was prophesied, you understand, throughout our history, that so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, these are the things where they pay attention to. You understand? Why is we actually functioning and regaining this kingdom? It's a lack here. Good? Yeah, first 2 Timothy 3:1.
Let's know also that in the last days, perilous time shall come.
Perilous what?
Time shall come.
Perilous time shall come. In the time of first Maccabees, they were in what? Perilous times. The nation of Israel was in disarray. You understand? It's no different than now. With us now, the nation of Israel, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, we are in disarray. We are number one in abortion, number one in sickness, number one in imprisonment. Everything we in, bad, we number one. You understand? And anything that is so-called good in, we still not number one because why? The heathens controlling that. You understand? We number one in music, we number one in sports, but is it really number one? You understand? Because we only go as far as how they allow us to go. You understand? And that is already happening. So, like here, go ahead. Continue.
And imagine that today is defining what success is.
That's right.
One man look like.
That's right.
And self-esteem. And I say, straight look, you expect she looking for herself from somebody.
That's right.
And slave master making 99 times out of it is the so-called artist or
that's right. Because that is a culture that he pushes. Right. Remember, he pushes gangster rap. He pushes black on black crime. Right. That is not our culture. Right. You understand? Even just a sidebar quick, when you look at hip-hop and the origin, that it was conscious music. Right. Even in the Caribbean here, we talk about we would have conscious music. Right. You understand? A little rap soul, little conscious reggae. Right. Then we go into what? We go into dancehall reggae. Right. Then we go into our next genre. What's that? Violence. Right. And this is what the oppressors push into the blacks, Hispanic, and Native Indian community. And as we go through this list here in 2 Timothy, you will actually see, you understand, why this is happening. So, like here, continue.
Book of 2 Timothy chapter 12, verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves.
Men shall be what?
Lovers of their own selves.
Men shall be lovers of their own selves. Continue.
Covetous.
What?
Covetous.
Covetous. On this planet Earth here, there's a covetous spirit rampant. You understand? Me, I. You understand? And covetous for no apparent reason. You understand? Just to be. You understand? Continue.
Boasters.
What?
Boasters.
Boasters. Continue.
Proud.
You understand? You're proud doing your wickedness. You have no cover. You have no shame. You understand? You're doing it because you feel like it. Continue.
Blasphemers.
What?
Blasphemers.
Blasphemers. You're taking the word of God, you understand? And and you doing your own thing. You understand? You say, well, that's what God said. You understand? That's how it's supposed to be. You understand? No. That is not what the Most High God said. That is not the way to act, to think, to feel, to believe. You understand? That is not what it is. So, like, you continue.
Disobedient to parents.
Disobedient to parents. You understand? Continue.
Unthankful.
On what?
Unthankful.
That is an abomination. See, being unthankful, you understand? A lot of people that's slight. But being unthankful, that is a wicked thing. Continue.
Unholy.
What?
Unholy.
Unholy. You understand? Not being separate. You want to be with everybody. You understand? You want to get in the mix. You understand? You use one Skittles. Dancing in the rainbow. Nah, that don't work so. Salakia, go ahead.
And the sad thing about it is the question for that. The thing is, what are they promoting? Look at the end result.
Right. That's right.
They want to push everybody. Everybody unity and feel nice and happy and thing.
That's right.
What is the pushing people towards?
That's right.
So the most I have all rights to say that you should be separate because that is madness. People are lawful and lawless people is just what I feel like, and it's not coming down to nothing positive. It's not coming to no good reasons. Always destruction. That's
why the Most High call us our holy people. We are a separate people from everybody else. You understand? So like you continue.
Go street without natural affection.
Without what?
Natural affection.
Yeah, well, we don't know the fruity alphabet collection already. You understand? Without natural affection. The affection is supposed to have for a woman as a male and as a female towards a man. That's gone. We ain't sure. You understand? Everybody identifying as everything else. You understand? Continue.
Truce breakers.
What's it?
Truce breakers.
Truce breakers. These are the kind of things that you understand that we just look at, you know, I say like homosexuality and all these kind of different things as, you know, the big things. But you see these small things here, so-called small, they're not really small enough. But we eyes be focused on what we want. And these little things here, you understand, is what is corrode your soul piece by piece. Before you blink, you're down a gutter. And you didn't even know. You're full mud. Continue.
False accusers.
What's that?
False accusers.
That's right. You understand? False accusers, being a false witness. All these are things that we just take for slight. These things erode our souls. And these are the things that in Maccabees, these what these men did, these what these wicked men do. Truce breakers. You understand? False accusers. Continue.
Incontinent.
Incontinent. Continue.
Like I said,
You go ahead.
Yeah, but you can't do, you know, that is how you're all the politicians. That is it.
Really?
If you get a chance
Yeah.
to really understand, reach the people and them, right? Not allow. And get them just to see a politician or the leaders and put them side by side, just give them a measurement for them to actually be so wide enough.
That's right.
To consider, you know, incontinent. This man fit in this criteria or no? And they smile and stabbing them in the back.
Yeah.
And carrying them along as just say blind, you didn't blind.
That's right.
Both of them falling off ditch every day.
Every day. You know, it's that old school term we used to say, you know, you're greedy and you're gravelicious.
Yes.
You understand? You understand? These are the things that, you know, we just take for granted. But you see all this in and listen out here? This is the spirit pushing on the earth right now. Continue.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Despisers of those that are good.
What?
Despisers of those that are good.
Despisers of those that are good. You understand? Let us sink in. You do them nothing, no. You just doing what the Lord tell you, and they despise you. And that is what the men in the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA go through every day. We don't kill nobody. We don't rob nobody. You understand? We don't hurt nobody. All we doing is going after the lost tribe of the nation of Israel. And they despise us. So like you go ahead. That's right.
But not we are watchman. Watch over to make sure you ain't going off, you know what I mean?
That's right.
Make sure that you know you don't make certain errors and you don't make and all that and hating the very people that
That's
you
right.
put in place to save your life.
That's it. You understand? And these are the things that we have to look out for. So like you continue.
Traitors.
What?
Traitors.
What?
Traitors.
Traitors. You understand? A traitor is a devious thing. You understand? In the I.S.U.P.K under commanding General YAHANNA, we as priests take an oath. When you take that oath for life.
That's right.
You know they will say blood in, blood out. This is oil in. You understand? That oil on your head, oil in. You understand? You ain't getting no oil going out. You understand? This is only oil in. And when you make that oath is life and death. Not just for you, you know. These were a lot of people that disfigure. Well, you know, but I break this oath, you know, yes, me. But they know the repercussion behind it. Just like the man with the Babylonish garment, when he take that garment and hide it in the tent, you're not here alone there, then. His entire household, the dog, the sheep, the cat, the flea, everything burned. Because why? It was a traitor. You understand? And these are the kind of things that we have to watch out for. So like here, continue.
Heady.
What?
Heady.
Yeah, well, you up there. Go ahead.
High-minded.
What?
High-minded.
High-minded. Our Christian pastors and politicians, that's what it is. Them better than thou. The fake Israelite groups better than thou. You understand? Continue.
Lovers of pleasures.
What?
Lovers of pleasures.
Lovers of pleasures. You understand? You want the best, eating the best, drinking the best. You understand? And all you do is you just fulfill your lust. Whether it be power, whether it be greed, whether it be sex, it doesn't matter. But these things, what? You love these things and you will do anything to get it. That is what the problem is. Continue.
More than lovers of the Most High.
More than what?
Lovers of the Most High.
So you learn a vice, you learn a lust, control you. You understand? These are the things that we have to look out for. You understand? So like, let's read it now, verse 5.
Yeah. Verse 5, having a form of godliness.
Having a what?
A form of godliness.
Having a what?
The form of godliness.
That is a Christian church. That is Christianity. That is a Muslim mosque. They have a form of godliness. Go ahead.
But denying the power thereof.
But what?
Denying the power thereof.
All right, go ahead. Read this last important part. Critical. Go ahead.
From such turn away.
From what?
Such turn away.
If it's anything you have to take out of this here, this whole verse, understand that all these things here, the Most High gave us one command. What?
From such turn away.
Yeah, and this is why again, you see, Jordan, you identify a spirit. You identify a spirit moving through the earth.
Right.
An evil spirit. And that evil spirit, as we say, as we read Maccabees, is that same spirit that moves.
That's right.
Same thing Jeremiah had to say. He said, don't learn the way of the heathen.
That's right.
All of this is the way of that spirit of the heathen.
That's right.
That black people take up. And as I say, the last part about we just read there, we have to turn away from that.
That's right.
We must turn away from that spirit. Anytime we turn away from that spirit, that the end result.
That's right.
That the whole, as we say, the whole line, the whole list. Because now that spirit carry all of that.
That's right.
That spirit carry that whole list.
Right.
And we, and that one again is a reminder to us, and that why we continue to say in here is the only way, is the only place you can get cleaned up. You can't get cleaned up nowhere else.
Yeah.
Because now to get, because now I say it are judges inside there.
That's right.
It are men who went through that everything that we read about and could attest it. Because why? That was faced with the same spirit that we just read about. And this is why now I just say, this is why the men are above us, as you say, commanded. These men are is like father to us, fathers to us, generals and them. To all, as you say, watching over, as we say, the four corners of the earth. Making sure wherever come down, it come right. And that way again we could be here tonight in remembrance and stand still and know, hey, men dedicate the life for this.
Right.
Men dedicate the life for this. Right? So again, you know, it's a reminder for us as our people. You know, tonight is not as a high holy day. Tonight is a remembrance, a dedication where our forefathers stand still for truth.
Right.
Then move to the left, not the right. All oppressors came up against them and try to force, you know, as you say, unclean meat or the swine flesh onto them. But what they do, they stand still for truth.
Right.
And this is why, again, as we read, because we are 8 days. 8 days?
Yeah,
8 days. 8 days. 8 days to do this, to bring this reminder out. We will just jump to the 34. Yeah, and we will read concerning that. But again, you know, you can go on and you can read through, you know, First and Second Maccabees again is the same story, but just different time. You know, they're bringing up certain things that happen around the same time. Because it wasn't listed out, as we say, as we say, how they like to say in order, but it gives you specific things taking place, like the children, like the sister, which is seven sons. All of that was taking place around that same time. Around that same time, but just different time for it. Right? So
we want to jump to
the dedication part. Like I'm trying on them.
It's like, what was you want to start from?
Diane. It's 4, it's 3, yes, it's 4 and 40 something. 41. Salah 41.
41?
Yeah. We are going to read that then.
I don't know.
Form
41? Awesome.
Yeah.
The book of First Maccabees, chapter 4 and verse 41.
Also, Slakia. If the sisters and them more, they can give them trying to teach something one time. That's the because again there's a time as you say you had if all the kids go ahead and feed the children and then do all that thing. Nice. Yeah.
The book of Slakia, you want to continue?
Yeah, go ahead now.
The book of Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 41. Then Judas appointed certain men to fight against those that were in the fortress until he had cleansed the sanctuary.
And this is we know, as you say, going and retake or take back the temple because it's something holy. This place is holy unto us. Right. The Lord had us. Because now again, when you look at the table right now, it's a glorious thing. You see men, standing for truth and as we say, rehearsing the righteous acts of our forefathers. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 42. So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
Read that one more time, Babu Kashan.
So he chose priests of blameless conversation, such as had pleasure in the law.
These men would not remove anything from the law. See, like I not read all that whole listening. These men would not look at nothing slight.
Right.
They would make sure that everything is in place. Everything come before them.
Right.
These men would as we say, make the duty.
That's right.
To uphold and bring that reminder to them, brother.
Right.
Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 43. Who cleansed the sanctuary and bear out the defiled stones into an unclean place.
So they remove all that would have the sanctuary, would defile it with, and throw it.
Right. Okay. Verse 44. And when, as they consulted what to do with the altar of burnt offerings, which was profane, they thought it best to put it down, lest it should be a reproach to them, because the heathen had defiled it.
Right, and because why they do all manner or cook all manner unclean on the top. Right, go ahead.
Okay. And laid up the stones in the mountain of the temple in a convenient place, until there should come a prophet to show what should be done with them.
Right, go ahead.
47. Then they took whole stones according to the law and built a new altar according to the former. Verse 48. And made up the sanctuary and the things that were within the temple, and hallowed the courts.
Go ahead.
Verse 49. They made also new holy vessels, and unto the temple they brought the candlestick and the altar of burning offerings and of incense and the table.
Right, so they remove all as we say, everything that the heathen try to dress it up with, or whatever unclean thing that they do as you say in the temple. They remove everything, so it come like, hey, they're cleaning out now. They're cleaning out everything in the temple because the heathen done defile it already. Right, go ahead.
Verse 51. Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table and spread out the veils and finished all the works which they had begun to make.
Right. Go ahead.
Verse 52. Now on the 25th day of the 9th month, which was called the month Kaselu, in 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning. Verse 53. And offered sacrifice according to the law upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they had made. With 54. Look at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it, even in that was dedicated with song and with sittings and harps and cymbals.
So on that day that the heathen defile it, we take that day now and dedicate it to our, as we say, and remembrance that the men and them that stand for truth And these laws on them, we made it, as you say, just like how it would have been before. Just like how it would have been before, where we gather on these days in remembrance of what our forefathers did and stand for the Lord. Right? So again, you could go back and you could read through it. That's 8 days. 8 days.
Right.
8 days a party. 8 days a party.
That's right.
Not like as you say, Christian pastor, teacher, imam teacher. That one day we are going and as you say, take all the money and you spend it on December 25th.
Right.
And when you're done, your whole family get molested.
Right.
Everybody want to sit on Santa lap. And you know Santa is a molester.
Right.
Only waiting to do what? To do some manner of uncleanness or vile thing to children. But you thinking like, hey, nah, that righteous. Again, as we do this, again, tonight is not a high holy day or a high holy night. It's a night where we remember our forefathers, retaining the kingdom, the temple, and in doing that, they dedicated. Had a night of dedication in them retaining it. Right? So that, yeah.
With that, Salakia, Officer Salakia, Salakia. And that we pass the class on to Priest and Officer Tazo.
The announcements, we are the I.S.U.P.K of the 1 West 125th Street, New York, and the Commanding General, right? Right. Your brothers and sisters, when a new brother or sister enters into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be submitted only. They have to shut themselves up the world if a brother or sister would like to speak quote each other, right? They must get permission from the head to marry. TITHES is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers chapter 18 and verse 21, right? 10th in Hebrew is pronounced Ma'isha. 10% of every penny the Lord gives you, give to the church department, a teacher, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you like to give. Right? All right, cool. For brother wants to be a trooper in the school, is to wear all black, which includes like boots, like shirts, like pants, headband or scarf, with that, say majim, which means to stand. Right? I'm going to visual give one to the teacher. I'm going to visual imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak, right? Yajamata, Satan, to the sisters. I'm going to visual give one to the sisters. I'm going to visual imagine. Imagine Shabbat. I'm going to visual imagine Shabbat. Imagine, Barak. Dismiss. I think we off there.
says something. All right.
allow anything in there and doesn't.
Oh, shoot. I forget to tell him. Quiet, please. Bye. Salaki, my lord. Talk to him.